Hi folks, Jabbapop here. We're going to be making a stew. A lot of times people say, what's cooking? I have to pass them on the street. I don't have an answer, but now I got an answer. It's a stew, that's what's cooking. So you can see our basic ingredients here. There's a cutting board. We can use that. There's a stainless steel miracle blade. You can use it to cut whatever you want, and it's good. Some Casa Mamina's nice tomatoes and green chilies. Original flavor. Some Happy Harvest sweet peas, some celery. We're going to cut these up and wash them before use, of course. The same thing with the Idaho potato, and some kind of weird, funky looking near-death onion. But hopefully the boiling process will remove any kind of impurities. Oh yeah, and let's see, big old pot. It makes a nice big musical sound. Alright, so we're going to clean these puppies off. Just rinse them. That's fine. Any kind of, dog doo-doo or insect larva is all we're really concerned about. The deeper impurities will be cleaned from boiling. You can feel the slime coming off of the celery. That's important. If you don't feel the slime coming off the celery, it's already been cleaned. Here is point of reference. There's the bug. If you can see it, it's right there, the little thing. Farms aren't pure locations. There's all kinds of stuff. It's primitive. It's untamed nature. Farm. You open your mouth just to yawn, and creatures fly in. The farm isn't so much a place where farmers till, but where bugs and insects thrive. So we got the celery cleaned. Here's the potato. Let's clean the potato. And the important thing about cleaning the potato is making sure you wipe it first with your hands. You get a good old-fashioned toothbrush to scrub off the impurities. Yeah, that's right. It's like you're cleaning your teeth. This also helps you develop your teeth cleaning skills in case you notice them turning yellow. Hopefully you'll apply this skill to your mouth beyond the realm of cooking. Alright, so this is adequately, I think, scrubbed. And now the onion. See, it's got a deep gash going down it. I'm just going to hopefully cut it out. And hopefully nothing has infested it, because I'm not about wasting food. I don't know how much further I can peel off the layers. Let's see how much I can cut. Let's cut the tips off my miracle blade. Here's any bugs living. No bugs living inside there. This is a good old, just a little slight gash. It doesn't open the realm for invaders as long as you cut adequately. There we go. So that's fine. Now we can peel off that brown layer. You don't want to get that brown layer inside. It doesn't taste good. And now time for the chopping block. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these into pieces. Nice and sort of uneven. I don't like it too even. If it's too even, it makes it seem like you're eating computer bits. If they're ragged and organic, it really increases the experience. Just shovel it in your mouth, It's just important that they're in manageable slices. You don't want things too big, because if they're too big, you won't be able to eat it with a spoon. That's the problem I ran into last time. And this is the tough part too. If you're not good with a knife, be very careful, because your fingers are important. Now let's just see if we can cut this into tiny little strands. There we go. Just kind of go to town. Chop like a woodsman. It doesn't matter if there's no uniform shape, just as long as they're small. The good thing about onions is they bring out flavor. They soak into the juices of the soup / stew. What I'm going to do is make sure I get these pieces too. It doesn't matter since we're not cutting meat. We can share the same cutting board. Nothing will get into the bloodstream this way. So I'll rinse off between cutting just to give myself the personal impression of like cleanliness, but it's not necessary. Now, if we were using this knife to cut meat, we'd have to make sure to thoroughly clean it. Same thing with the cutting board. You never want to share meat cutting boards with your non-meats, because you get salmonella risks. And oh, make sure you wash your hands first. I didn't show you doing that, but I did it, right? Because if you don't, you might get poop in your food. I was talking about that earlier. The farm poop, but human poop is different. I mean, some people like the taste of human poop. I personally don't. I mean, I don't mind the smell of my farts. They're okay, but I know anyone eating as a guest would not appreciate it. So I think we have a good old chopped up onion here. Let's just shove it into the pot. Nice, decent sound effect. Oh, I'm starting to tear up. You know, that's what they say. Onions make you tear up. We got to make sure to cut the bits of celery that are bad. Pretty much the edges and the tips. You just chuck them out. You don't want to eat them. And they're kind of gamey. Oh man, it's tears. I tell you, I never had an emotional experience like this before I started cooking with onions. That's good. You can judge an onion by its tear-inducing qualities. The stronger the tears, the better it is, honestly. Now I tell you, the great thing about making stews and soups is that you can keep them in your freezer for months, according to the government. You Google it, the government has standards for freezing. And if you're eating on a budget, you can never go wrong with soup, because it's probably the cheapest and most nutritious thing you could eat. I don't understand why more people don't do it, you know? Maybe they think it's too much work. Well, you know, it pays off, because you eat it and it's delicious. It's thick and it's good. Let's just shove in our... I know some people like to skin these. I don't mind. I don't find it all too important. You just have to make sure to cut them, like I said before with the onions, into very manageable slices. You don't want anything too chunky. And if you've ever eaten potato chips, this site is probably very familiar with you. You know, the potato chips really do look like potatoes, and there's a reason for that, because potato chips are made from potatoes. In fact, if you had a deep fryer, you could cut these really thin, make your own homemade. You know, throw in some spices and some garlic, and you know, why go for Lay's? You can't eat just one. You make your own. You'll have a whole new meaning to that phrase, and you won't have to go back to the watering hole of Lay's potato chips. Just go to your own backyard if you grow them, or your local grocery mart. This is the tough part. Never go with knives. You're gonna eat some JabbaStew, literally. You know, have a piece of my finger. So, I know this is a rather tiny cutting board. I liked it because it was bamboo. You know, that just seems very exotic. And we live in a land without much bamboo. So I felt I'd be getting to my Japanese roots, so to speak. I mean, I know I don't personally have any Japanese roots, but we're all part of a human family, you know. At some point in time, all the races are going to intermingle, so our future great-grandchildren, if we have them, will be members of all the races. And it's very nice to think about, you know. It's like a sense of unity, diversity and unity, you know. Who doesn't? The great thing about potatoes is they don't make you cry. Because I'd be in stitches, right? And they make you laugh. Haha, I'd be in stitches. But I'm just gonna try to, like I said, make some more room on this board. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, cooking is not so much a skill of timed priorities. It's like a juggling act. You got to be able to control yourself. You know, people think it's a ladies' game or something, but cooking is. It brings together so many different skills: coordination, time control, the ability to judge minute changes and such. You know, to see when something is ready, because it doesn't always cook the same. Things will vary depending on how much you put in. The experimentation, adding new ingredients that you haven't before. Family secrets. You make your own recipe and you don't share it with others to keep keep them on the hook and line, so to speak, coming back to you because you make your oh so special sauce that they don't know how to make. And you never tell them. If you tell them, they won't need you anymore. They'll just drop you, dump you at the nearest bus stop, and say go to a new town because you're not needed anymore. We can make what you have. So yeah, it's ripe for all kinds of human drama, and it could be a sport. You know, they have their own channels, cooking for dummies, cooking for yummy dummies, yummy dummy gummy bear junction. You come up with stories in your head, you hum some tunes. I know I really should get a bigger cutting board because this is pretty ridiculous. Or get one of those I don't know, I saw the guy, Vince from ShamWow, Chop or something. And you could just stick the thing in and it has like 12 blades that vivisect at once. I know it's better for salads, but whole vegetables, as long as they fit in manageable chunks, that would be just as good. I wouldn't have to go through this nonsense. And like I said, it wouldn't matter because I don't have any kind of rhythm to the shape of what I'm doing. I just want to make sure they're small enough to be fitting on a spoon. The great thing about potatoes too is they're going to make your broth real thick, real starchy. Every sip will be a treat. Tomato juice, why not potato juice? That's what I say. Alright, so now we got all of our fresh vegetables thrown in. We can get rid of the knife. We're not going to need that knife anymore. Now it's time to use our canned stuff. See, I'm not too good at things like peas, so I just thought I'd get it canned. I know this will probably upset the balance between fresh and canned because now they might get very mushy, but that's okay. Always remember to drain. And don't cut your fingers on the can. They're very sharp and edgy. But just push, get that butter out. These are some ugly, I probably should have gotten some fresh peas because these are some ugly, these are some diarrhea colored peas. I'll show you in the mix when we get them all. Now typically these custom Amita's diced tomatoes are not used in like stews and soups, but I had them around and I liked it the last time. They added a little bit of zest. Because those chiles, the green chiles. I usually use some macaroni and cheese. Plop. Nice plop sound. Get rid of these cans. Let's get this celery back in. Maybe I should have put more, but let's get it back in the fridge. It was odd. I went to the Aldi store and they weren't refrigerated. Typically, those things should be refrigerated. But like I said, boiling kills all. Let me get my little stir soup ladle. This is a good old soup ladle. We'll use this when we're ready for the soup. For now, we'll use this nice fancy little stir cup. I'll give you a view. Give you a view of what's going on. Let me see if I can see it better. Maybe we need more light. Woo! It's like you're in the cooking light, the buffet. But I'm just gonna stir it a little bit. You know, it's not even. I have to really fight to resist the temptation to just dive right in. But this is not ready yet. We have to add our water, folks. All right, folks, we got a decent heat going here. I'm gonna take this off for now, for a moment. And we're gonna stir because we don't like these little bubbles to crop up and to take precedence over the top layer. It makes it look kind of weird. I think it might be soap. If we stir this, the soap will be distributed more evenly and you won't notice it when you eat. Kind of like meat sauce versus meatballs. Meatballs, you take a bite out of pasta and you're like, ew, gross, there's meat in my pasta. But meat sauce, you barely notice it. You have to be told usually afterwards that there was meat in there. You might want to lower the heat. You never want it to be smoking that much. Let's do that. Throw this back on. It's not necessary to have the lid on, but it's better. It makes less things move around and it saves heat. Conserves heat. See, I got the dial setting right here. Set to probably 5 by now. Halfway. Let's go midway. In the meantime, I got these containers set up. This is the most important part, because the whole reason we're doing this isn't because we like to eat this stuff. It's because it's economical. I mean, you get eight servings. That's a week's worth of food crossed off your list for one meal. Let's count the money. $2 for the whole bag of potatoes. $2 for the whole bag of onions. So if there's 7 onions in there, I'll just say a quarter potato, quarter onion, 50 cents. So I got 50 cents plus maybe like a buck, plus the celery, another 50 cents. So let's say $1 for the celery, onion, and tomato, potato combined. So $3 for the whole shebang for that. No, I'm getting my $1. Okay, $1. And then we got the cans. $1 a can of sweet peas, a can of that Mk.2 stuff. So $3. This whole pot's probably got $3 of stuff inside of it. $3 divided by 8. Yeah, there's a lot less than $1 a meal, and that's very good. And you can freeze it and save it as long as you want. Two months, I think the government says. So we'll wait. Let this go a bit. Alright folks, at this point I reduced the heat to a nice simmer. See, low. I don't know what simmer means. I usually think it's like the 1. I don't think low is a simmer. I don't think 2 is a simmer. Maybe 2 could be a simmer. Kind of like to even it out. Like, what isn't, what definitely is, just right. In the meantime, I set up my little Tupperware army and covered them, because you don't want dust particles or insects to fly in. Because, you know, waiter, there's a fly in my soup. Well, you made the soup, so whose fault is that? So there you go. That's how you keep the flies out of your soup. We'll probably set the kitchen timer to time cook. Kitchen timer to 15 minutes. We'll let it simmer. We'll let the flavors soak in. Kind of try and mask the flavor of soap. And there you go. Count down to infinity. I like that effect. I guess the shutter speed is too fast or slow, so it's all like flingly. But let's wait. Let's wait with Jabbapop. Alright folks, should be done cooking. Let's take a peek. Whoa! I gotta pull back. Don't want that smoky stuff to get into the camera lens. Stir it a bit. I guess it looks okay. I mean, I'm not gonna throw it out. It'd be a huge waste of $3. But I mean, the whole point of this exercise is not whether it's good or bad, but you know, to save money. So I'm gonna have to eat it. That's what happens when they deny you food stamps, folks. You do torturous things to get by. Now, while people who do get food stamps cheat the system and lie about their income and expenses. But Jabba doesn't do that. Jabba's just a straight man. He doesn't fool around with the government cheese. And there you have it, folks. Let's make JabbaStew. Alright, folks, I lied. I only got 4 servings out of this, but if I jimmied the amounts, you can see they're a little bit uneven. Some of them are waterier than others. If I jiggered the amounts, I could probably end up getting like 5 servings. But there you have it. Hey, so I gotta say, it was a tasty treat. That soup of mine. It was a little bit watery. I know people like to simmer it for a longer period of time, but the nutrients, the pure raw materials are still there. Life isn't a luxury. It's gotta be taken in moderation, and that's what I did. I just throw them in the pot and scarf them down. You can do it yourself, not too much work, not too refined, but everything you need. Right now I'm making a coffee in a literal coffee pot, because the glass carafe broke. I don't know why they make carafes glass. Why don't they just make them like a pot? But I guess that's too expensive. They like you to buy a new one when it breaks. But there you go, folks.